beauty heaven, we have heard it said that the streets of Seoul are paved with glass skin. While that may be a hyperbole, on this podcast, you and I know that there are certainly some Asian beauty secrets that must be told. So in this episode, I'm going to teach you how you can incorporate an easy Korean skincare routine for day and night. The focus here is simple. We're not talking about the 7 or 9-step Korean skincare routines, but a relatively manageable 3 or 5-step one, which you can later build on. First of all, let's start by defining what glass skin is. A translucent complexion that is so clear it almost looks like it reflects light. While that is certainly an exaggeration, but us beauty fiends can always dream, right? The key difference with Korean skincare is that it incorporates not just 1 or 2 actives, as is the case for the West's usual cleanse, tone, and moisturize regimens, but a plethora of botanicals that are curated from a relatively esoteric field of Asian ethnobotany. These botanicals work in synergy to harmonize the skin microclimate as part of an ecosystem. The other conceptual difference in this East versus West juxtaposition is that the former Eastern skincare routines, they emphasize compatibility and harmony as opposed to Western prescriptions of what I view as an emphasis on functionality only. For instance, thinking of cleansing purely as a way to remove physical debris versus an opportunity to incorporate antioxidants that can calm and soothe inflamed skin while simultaneously removing physical debris. In the cleanse, tone, and moisturize rhetoric, toners are to oily skin what talismans are to devils. I exaggerate a little, but I remember the very first skincare regimen I followed as a teen was a cleanse, tone, and moisturize one that left my combination skin terribly dehydrated and oily at the same time. It is as paradoxical as it sounds. And the problem here is that traditional toners contain astringents. For example, alcohols, salicylic acids, AHAs, lactic and glycolic acid, which when used as leave-on skincare actually irritates skin, which does not spell good news for skin of color. Asian skin types, for example, are more prone to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation arising from inflammation. Essentially, redness, flaking, or any form of skin irritation can constitute skin inflammation. In the last few years, we have also seen how the skincare industry has begun to emphasize skin barrier repair as a crucial part of an effective skincare regimen and the basis for healthy skin. Suffice to say that alcoholic astringents are now universally acknowledged as bad for the skin because they do nothing for the skin barrier, and in fact, they damage the skin barrier. It is also a myth that it can cure or treat oily skin. Rather, it merely leads to the dreaded oily and dehydrated skin phenomenon. And it is precisely because of the international interest in K-beauty that has increased our awareness of this. Which brings me to the next point about how K-beauty toners work. Remember I mentioned the broad mix of botanicals that are used in K-beauty rather than the single active ingredient that Western formulas tout? The thing is, K-beauty toners contain botanical actives that regulate the skin microenvironment by repairing the skin barrier, reducing inflammation, and help skin adapt. You may have heard of adaptogenic skincare. The science of Asian beauty is precisely in that the skin is a living organism that interacts and adapts to its environment. It also looks like the ancients did unravel the secret to beauty regimens, one that derives lessons from nature's plant ecosystems. Interestingly, the exposome, which we now consider to be the sum total of environmental and genetic exposures that influence aging, also applies to plants in their natural habitat. Except that plants actually need UV for photosynthesis, whereas it looks like UV is our skin's enemy. Or is it? Well, in my other podcast, Dermatologist Talks Science of Beauty, I discussed how 2023 is the year of the exposome because it is by understanding the exposome that we begin to unravel how plant-based skincare benefits our skin. The crux of Korean skincare routines is that it utilizes plant-based skincare actives to allow your skin to adapt to the environment. From the perspective of the exposome, we find that it is not all that surprising after all, since we find plants are able to adapt to their environment. And this is the genesis of the entire concept of adaptogenic skincare, which has so far been marketed by beauty brands primarily as a desert plant-based type of skincare. And the reason is clear as well. The desert represents an extreme environment, and it's easy for laypersons to understand that plants which can survive in the deserts, for example, possess special adaptations to help them do so. And finally, I want to talk about K-beauty moisturizers. So these are usually in the form of emulsions or lotions rather than creams, and it also tends to incorporate a variety of actives, including synthetic peptides, and omits potentially irritating ingredients like retinols or acids. These are present in Western formulas. We often think that it's beneficial to incorporate an anti-aging ingredient in everything. That's actually a misconception that beauty marketing wants you to believe. It is exactly what would set them apart from other brands, these special ingredients, isn't it? And also, so they can say you can get this and that, which is personalized for your skin type. It sounds attractive, but it may not always be accurate. Dermatologists, for example, recommend universally tolerated skincare formulations rather than a special cleanser or toner or serum for this or that concern. Finally, I will close with the popular 5-step Korean skincare routine. What it is for me looks something like this. We start with a cleanser, followed by a toner, which we must emphasize here is more like an antioxidant solution. And what many people don't realize is also the facial mist in the K-beauty context. By the way, water compresses alone can be regarded as a form of astringent. It can draw out excess oil, and there is no need for alcohol or salicylic acid. The added benefit of using your facial mist as your toner is that throughout the day, it is also convenient to mist regularly over your makeup or even to use it as part of your touch-up. The third step here would be the application of serums. It can be an all-in-one formula, or it can be divided into different serums that contain specific active ingredients. But one must bear in mind that a so-called all-in-one serum, or the only serum you need, while it sounds very convenient, actually does have lower concentrations of the active ingredients. The fourth step here would be the moisturizer, an emulsion or lotion for most skin types for a daytime routine. And finally, using a sunscreen, which is not just capable of blocking UV with the usual physical and chemical blockers, but also contains adaptogenic skincare ingredients. For example, in our pharmacy, we add on purslane or Portulaca oleracea. which helps to improve your skin's resilience against environmental damage by building an antioxidant reserve in your skin. Skincare truly can be simple and effective. Beauty marketing and buzzwords like the science of beauty sometimes intimidate users who really just want a straightforward way to care for their skin in order to achieve skin health. In my book, Asian Beauty Secrets, my goal is really to show you the simplicity at the heart of the science of skincare, along with pearls of wisdom imparted by the ancient art of ethnobotany. That's it for this week's podcast on Asian Beauty Secrets. Do remember to check out our podcast website for full transcripts as well as product recommendations. I hope you've enjoyed today's sharing, and we look forward to more Asian beauty secrets in the upcoming episodes.